Hey everybody, welcome to our first video in a 5-video series, the 5 pillars of jerk technique. I'm here with my assistant, Kaylin Pepito, 58 kilo lifter for Team Juggernaut. First video, we're going to go over the first thing we have to go over is the start position. So Kaylin's going to grab the bar. Now if you watch our 5 pillars in the clean, we know that when we receive the bar, rack the bar, it's going to sit behind the delt, our hands in a full grip around the bar. For the jerk setup, we're going to imagine she just cleaned the weight, so her feet are going to be a little bit wider than normal, okay? Wider than that. She's going to stand up. The very first thing we do when assuming the start position, we want to make sure we bring our feet back under our hips, okay? The ideal position is going to be somewhere just under the hip to as wide as the shoulder, but generally a little bit closer, more so than wider in that range. From there, she's going to have the hips set neutral, the spine neutral. She's going to breathe and brace here, tense like she would for a front squat. Elbows are going to be up and out a little bit. So she's not going to have a really high elbow like a front squat. She's going to have a lower elbow down here. This allows her to use her tricep better when she actually goes to press herself under the weight. Bar is going to sit behind her shoulder. She's going to keep her chest out. And then she's going to set her hips back a tiny bit, okay? This is the start of the this is the start position for the jerk. This is where we want to set up before we actually start any movement. So we have to establish this position first before doing anything with the dip or the drive. From the top down, bar sits on the behind the shoulder, elbows down and out, chest out, hips set back, knees locked, body weight in the middle of her foot, toes pointed out. Some common errors we're going to run into in all these positions, or the links of the body getting set for the start position of the jerk. Having the elbows up really high, putting the bar on her fingertips rather than having a full grip around the weight. Really important that we want to get our elbows down and the bar sitting in our hands. This is really where the bar is going to end up, in our hands, and our elbows are going to be in line with our wrist and shoulder when we are overhead. So getting in these positions is a much better place. Up here, just much harder. Generally, it positions you to be more like a front squat where you're going to sit back and the bar is going to come forward a little bit. Not a good place to drive from. Second mistake would be if she sets up, brings her hips, squeezes her butt too much and brings her hip way far under her. So she's not actually in position to keep her hips in line when dipping. And then third would be putting her weight way too far back on her heel. If her toes are off the ground when she starts to dip, invariably she's going to come down, knees are going to come way forward, she's going to shoot the bar forward off her chest, always going to be in front of her. So body weight's got to be in the midfoot. She should be able to feel that pressure on her toe, not all the way on her heel, okay? Legs locked. This will prevent her from dipping and having her hips come forward in the bottom of the dip. And then again, everything else we went over initially. So in conclusion, we went over the start position for the jerk. Some main points there. Number one, we want to establish that our feet come in after the recovery of the clean. So we bring ourselves back into a position where our hips are now just above our heels. Body weight is centered in the middle of our feet. Second point, when we set up at the top, we want to make sure the elbows are out and a little bit down, not really high like a front squat. And then the third point, make sure our knees are locked and our hips are in line where they need to be. We set our hips back a tiny bit in preparation for the dip so they don't drive forward or slide forward in the bottom, forcing us to drive the bar out in front. If you guys like that first video in our series, The 5 Pillars of Jerk Technique, stay tuned for the next 4 videos. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and thanks for watching.